When we close our eyes here, we rest our hands. And to arrive, I usually like moving around a bit. I move my head, I move my spine, I move my pelvis. Just to make sure that I'm not sitting from my head, from my mind, but I'm sitting from within my body. Really finding your inner support. Get a sense of being able to lean into yourself as if you are your own armchair. And if today you need some wall or furniture support, that's absolutely great. And closing eyes, turning our gaze inwards. Closing our eyes also to soften all the little muscles around the eyelids, around the eyeballs. And as we close our eyes, we might notice tension we're holding there, which in the busyness of our doing, we don't notice. So consciously soften your forehead and soften the space between your eyebrows. And notice how your entire body starts softening with it. Let your shoulders soften, your ribs, your neck. Let your fingers soften, let your sit bones soften into earth. Your knees, your inner thighs, the corners of your mouth, the root of your tongue, your inner ears, as if your entire periphery, your outside, is melting down towards earth. And then using every inhalation to gently lengthen, without forcing or straining, just an image of gently lengthening through the spine, from your pelvic floor, from your sit bones up into crown. Continuously letting our body find its own alignment, its own length. Relaxing into yourself, relaxing back into being. Letting our awareness now drop out of our minds, out of our heads, down below shoulders. Rest your awareness in heart center for a moment. If you like, you stack your hands here, or simply awareness. And notice and witness what's alive in me this moment. Not in my head, not in my mind, but in me. In my felt sense of being, in my heart. How does it feel to bring attention and awareness to heart? Is this a space I'm familiar with? Is this an unfamiliar space? The sensations that come up, are they familiar, unfamiliar, comfortable, uncomfortable? And there's no judgment in our observation. It's pure observation, filled with curiosity, courageously exploring inwards. If your hands on your heart, drop them back onto thighs and continue to sense and feel. Let arise whatever arises, and breathe it in and breathe it out. Remembering that everything comes and goes. The most uncomfortable experiences, they come and go. The most pleasant ones, they come and go. And we let them, like day and night, like in-breath and out-breath. We can't hold on. We let them come, we let them go. Opening ourselves up to the full range of sensations, the full range of emotions, the full range of life, the fullness and depth of life. Opening our hearts, opening our being, and filling each and every breath and moment with curiosity. Inhaling ourselves spacious and exhaling ourselves soft, kind, gentle. reach a little taller and slowly flicker our eyes open, gaze into the space in front of you, cup your hands onto knees, and let's hinge forwards and back a few times just to get a sense for range of movement, a sense for spine and space, rolling onto front sit bones and back sit bones, rounding and softening into shoulder blades, and feel free to move your head, soften your neck, pause wherever you need. And let's come up to seated and just gently walk our hands over to the left to twist, looking over back shoulder, and then as if you're drawing a line along your collarbones, slowly, mindfully looking over right shoulder, gently lift your chin up towards ceiling, and then chin down to collarbones, looking over back shoulder, gently lifting chin up to ceiling, slide your shoulder blades down, make maximum space between ears and shoulders, and then turn yourself to center, walk your hands over the other way. Find your twist, looking over back shoulder. Every inhalation you grow tall, with every exhale, softening into earth. Draw a line along your collarbones over front shoulder. Looking up, lift your chin as if you're drawing a half pipe. And then chin forward back again, lifting chin, lean into yourself. Walk your way back to center. Round yourself out as you roll into tailbone. Again, broaden the space into shoulder blades. Really let it stretch as you hang on your knees. Rolling onto front sit bones and fold yourself forwards. Let yourself full drop into the space between your knees. Let your head drop. Let your shoulders drop. As if you're becoming a little puddle, a little you puddle on your mat. And then chin to chest, roll yourself up to sit, roll your shoulders back a few times, and let us swap our legs or stretch them out, or whatever you might need this moment. Arms out to the sides, fingers spreading wide, and open chest wide. Let's turn our palms up and then guide your thumbs towards one another. Gently bend your elbows into hips, and then as if you're holding two pizzas in your hands, you reach them backwards and you lift your chest and your sternum and your throat forwards and up. Feel the collarbones expand for you. Front shoulders open wide. Lifting chin. And on our next inhalation, we drop our chin and we rise our arms up. We exhale to soften shoulders down and lengthen through our spine. A gentle contraction through your pelvic floor. Grow even taller, and on your next exhale, your arms come down through the sides. Let's do that again. Inhale, rising, reaching. Exhale, softening. Inhale, growing tall through your center, through your navel. Feel it lift up. And exhale your hands back down to earth. One more time, reaching up as you inhale. Exhale to soften. Inhale, growing a little taller. And exhale, hands through the sides. Let's find the opposite elbows. Grab them, draw them closer towards one another. Draw your elbows and shoulder blades down to earth and rest your arms heavy on your lower back. So your front shoulders are opening up. You're leaning in your arms. It's kind of like you're leaning into yourself. Lift your chest, lift your sternum. If you want to lift your chin, you can. Make sure you relax your thighs, your hip flexors. Lifting, opening into chest, leaning into your arms. If you need support with your fingertips behind you, you can absolutely adjust that here. But find that length in your chest. And then slowly we hinge forwards. Let your arms be heavy on your lower back. If fingertips are here, that's great, no problem. Folding forwards. Let your torso drop into the space between your knees. Let your hands drop, and they might just rest back there, or they might come forwards. See what's true for you. Notice and witness if there's a change towards the other side, and soften and open up. Let's take another big deep inhale here. Exhale to soften even deeper, and then roll your chin up, coming up to seated. Bring your feet flat onto earth. Check that there's mat behind you. Reach your hands forward and gently roll yourself down onto mat. Feel free to shift side to side. The first one, really round your lower back into mat. And then keep it on the mat, reach your arms up and over, stretch yourself out. If you want to stretch your legs out for a moment, you can totally do that. Straighten them out, shift into left leg, right leg. See how long you can be. Fill the space you're in, and then step your feet back down onto mat, nice and wide, knees wide, chin to chest, arms come forwards to outer thighs. Now you might need to grab your thighs, or you might be able to simply slide your hands forward, and we're not coming all the way up. We stay rounded in our spine and we roll back down, one vertebra at a time. We stretch our arms up, and then we'll do that again. Chin to chest, rolling ourselves up. Hands slide forwards, maybe pausing here, coming all the way back down. See if you can really peel one vertebra at a time off the mat and trickle one at a time back into that. Let's come back up. Sliding, reaching, sliding. See if we can come up all the way. And really enjoy that heat you're creating in your core and your center. One more time, rolling down, tailbone forwards. Be patient. Breathe slowly. Let your spine imprint into mat, one vertebra at a time. Really focus. Keep your entire spine on mat as you reach and lengthen. And then coming forwards, one at a time. One at a time, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. Beautiful. Lengthen up tall, slide your shoulder blades down. Let's bring our feet a little closer, point your toes out to the side. And then bring yourself up onto feet, so coming into squat, gently shifting from side to side, arrange your feet to what is needed right now. And then bring your upper arms into inner knees, just turning so you can see. Turn your palms up, spread your fingers wide. And then open your chest, open your arms, open your knees wide. And see where you're at. Notice, maybe you can lift onto toes or really drop heels into earth. How tall, how long can your spine be? And simply be here. Feel this beautiful balance between sinking into gravity, softening into feet, into heels, and at the same time expanding outwards and upwards. Really knaping into glutes to open the knees wide. And then we'll bring our fingertips onto mat. And we'll just lift our hips up, keeping feet as they are, and straighten out one leg at a time. Gently rolling hips side to side. Maybe on your inhalation, you lift your chest forwards and up, lifting hips up high. And as you exhale, dropping it forward. See if you can lift your sit bones a little bit higher. And then lifting chest forwards and up. Bring your feet hip wide apart, and we'll bring our hands onto shins, onto knees, onto thighs. We hug our elbows and we lift our chest. You might want to use your hands to gently push into thighs and lift your chest forwards and up. Really lifting through the navel, lifting through the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, you fold it forwards. Let your arms and let your head hang. Maybe shaking head no and nodding head yes. And lifting sit bones high and maybe bending one knee at a time. Really arriving, spreading your toes, lift them out wide, grounding evenly through your feet. And chin to chest, bend your knees, point your tailbone down and roll yourself up to stand. Rolling shoulders back a few times. Open hard, lots of space in the chest. Lifting chin, lifting sternum, wiggle your toes, ground your feet. Find the balance between the two, the groundedness and the expansion. Rising up, reaching. Exhale, sitting through Utkatasana. We're not even going to stay here long. We'll just fold ourselves forwards from the pelvis, chest, lower ribs onto thighs, and the arms drop. And the sit bones maybe rise a little taller. See where your limitations are, where the mind says stop, and then see if you can go a little further. A little further. Just gently through breath and loving kindness. And from here, bend your knees, look forwards. Find your plank. So arrange yourself on your mat, spread your fingers wide. Have your shoulders above your hands and your heels above your toes. Gently lift your heels forwards and up and back. Just moving forwards and back a couple of times. Lifting your gaze forwards, make sure your heart stays wide and open. And then we slowly bring our knees down. We point our toes back. And then softening the hips down and forwards, hugging elbows in, lifting chest forwards and up. Tailbone pointing down, really strong through your core, really strong in your glutes. Gently sway from side to side, maybe looking over one shoulder, over the other shoulder. Gently opening chest. Moving mindfully. So let your body guide you. Widen and stretch your range of movement. Widen and expand what is familiar. And then find your way back up onto hands and knees. Let us tuck our toes under and find our down dog. Our first down dog today. So arriving, landing, bending one knee at a time, rolling ankles outwards and inwards. Checking into hands, have a look forward, shift them forwards. And you know what, let's bring our knees onto mat. Do one more little prep pose for down dog. Keeping your hips above your knees, your hands on the shoulders. As we inhale, we arch. We hug our elbows in, we lift our sternum forward. Check your elbows, so you bend them, notice where they're pointing, point them to hip bones, and then stretch them out. Lift your heart, lift your sit bones, and as you exhale, you round it up, open it up. And inhale to arch, and exhale to round. Let the movement flow through you, no wrong, no right. Inhale to arch and open, and exhale to round it out. Broaden into shoulder blades, broaden into lower back. Inhale to arch, and exhale to round. With our inhalation, we find our neutral spine alignment. Keep your hips above your knees, reach your hands forward, and then gently let your sternum or your forehead drop towards mat. Externally rotate your upper arms so your chest and your shoulder blades are nice and open, and soften your armpit. Soften sternum to mat. Relax your feet. Relax your shins. Maybe turning, maybe resting one of your cheeks onto mat. And surrender your chest. Surrender your sternum down to mat. Imagine your spine being like a hanging bridge. So your pelvis, your sit bones poke up to ceiling, and your spine just drops and softens. Any resistance, soften and smooth it out as you move your awareness up and down your spine. And then slowly we'll slide our sit bones onto heels, finding child's pose. And you might want to reach your arms through the sides and interlock them behind, just to gently open the shoulders even further. If you like, rolling onto crown, soften arms up and over. Continue to slide your shoulder blades to hips, and just let your arms soften. Welcome to move a bit, finding space, opening up. Really enjoy and celebrate every moment of this. We're not forcing anything. It's like we're making love to ourselves. We're embracing and we're exploring, witnessing and watching every moment. Release your hands down, find yourself in child's pose. From child's pose, we roll our chin to chest, come up to sit on heels. We roll our shoulders back a few times, really filling ourselves up with love and kindness, accepting this moment exactly as it is. Bringing hands back, spreading fingers wide, rolling shoulders back, and again we'll lift our chest, we'll open our heart. See if you can really move this open, all the muscles between the ribs stretched, hugging elbows in. And if you like, you can even lift your hips gently up, drawing navel inwards. So navel lifts in and up as if it wants to party with the heart. And then lift and lengthen, open up, make yourself light, breathe yourself spacious. And releasing heels down, we find our way through plank, back into down dog.
And notice what's changed. Notice what might be different. Bring your little puppy stretch into your down dog, so let your collarbones soften to toes. Let your head hang and notice how it hangs habitually. Maybe explore a little further. Might you be able to lift your sit bones a little higher? Might we be able to ground into left leg and rise our right leg up? Maybe as you lift your leg, check in, have your toes point down, your heels point up. And as you lift your heel, look forward. Drop your left heel low, lift your right heel high, look forward, soften your collarbones to left foot. And then step your right foot down again. And look at your left foot as you lift it. See that alignment? Feel your hip alignment. Lifting chest, hugging elbows in, grounding hands. There's no weight in the hands really. They're pushing forwards. All your weight moves towards right heel. Keep your body balanced. Explore this. And bring your leg back down. Coming onto hands and knees. And hugging elbows in, knees under hips. Point your toes back and then reach your right heel back. Pressing into right heel. Now hugging right elbow into hip and left arm reaches forward. Really strong here. If you want to use your hand to just check into core and center, lift it up and in. And lift your right heel higher at the same time as you lift your navel. If you want to take it a little further, maybe your left arm opens to the side and up. Now check into right shoulder. You might be holding tension here. Might you be able to lift the heel a little higher, the hand a little higher, breathing and celebrating at the same time. And the left hand comes down. The right toes come down. You roll your right heel onto the side, so your heel is pretty much in line with left toes. Your hips start stacking, your shoulders start stacking. And how about we reach our right arm up and over as we lift even higher into right rib cage. You might be able to lift your right leg. Simply see if that works for you. Grounding the top of your left foot into mat, soften your shoulders, breathe deeply, find your center. Slowly drop your leg, lift your arm, and bring your hand down onto mat. Find yourself on hands and knees. To reset, we inhale to arch and exhale to round. Soften ourselves out, find space into body. And then we roll over left toes. Left heel comes back, left heel lifts. And check in, often we lift the leg and then we collapse in our lower back, but keep lifting your lower ribs and front hip bones towards one another. So hollowing out your core, rolling your shoulders back, chest fierce and courageously reaching forward. Right hand forwards, this might be enough. Maybe right hand opens to the side and up. And explore, keep your left heel lifting. Press your heel into wall behind you. Soften your left shoulder. Make space wherever you can. Put a smile in your eyes. Put a smile on your lips. Breathe that smile into your body. Bring your hand down. Bring your toes down. Roll your left heel down. Balance yourself out on right knee and lift your left arm up. Lift through your right waistline. Stack your shoulders. Stack your hips. Find your center. And you might be able to bring your left arm up and over. Make the longest line from outer left foot into fingertips. And if you like, if you want, if there's space, maybe left leg lifts. Feel free to flex or point the toes. Explore the difference. Stay in your center, deeply grounded, and let your periphery soften. Coming back down, hand comes down, foot comes down, knee comes down. Resetting, gentle movements through your spine. If you want to slide into child's pose for a moment, maybe do that. Sit bones onto heels, chest onto thighs. And since we're all in child's pose, let's lift our gaze, look forwards, reach our hands a little further forwards. Continue to externally rotate your upper arm, so there's lots of space. And then we flow up onto hands and knees, maybe this beautiful rounding movement through the spine, and then the hips come down and the chest lifts. It's like a wave flowing through your spine. Elbows hugging into hips as you open your chest, and then reversing the movement. Chin comes down, rounding upper back, rounding lower back, finding child's pose. Let's do another 3 of these. You do it in your own pace and your own perfect, unique way. Rounding forwards. Feel that movement trickle through your spine from rounding to arching. From arching, reversing back into rounding. Feel the movement flow through you. And let us meet again in child's pose. When you're ready, roll yourself up to sit on heels. Gently stack yourself up, roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Let us lift up onto knees. And let us bring our hands onto pelvis. So we use our thumbs to point our back pelvis down. We use our fingertips to lift our front pelvis up. We gently slide our hands down towards our thighs if that works. Otherwise, they might be here on your lower back to support it opening. Hug your elbows into one another. Lift your sternum, lift your chest, lift your heart. Open your chest wide. Make sure your navel is lifted in and up. And you might be able to slide your hands a little further down. But be here. Familiarize yourself with this very unfamiliar, unhabitual pose. For some of us, the hands might come onto heels, but they absolutely don't have to. Be you. Continue to point your tailbone down and forwards. Continue to lift your heart up high. And explore this movement wherever you are, whichever is right for you. Simply exploring this openness in your heart. Let's take another inhalation here. Exhale, strong in your center, slowly coming onto hands and knees. And again, you're welcome to release, to move, to flow. And in your own time, in your own perfect way, find your way into down dog. Lifting hips up high. Soften hips back and away. Let us slowly lift both heels. Bend both knees. See your toes all stretching out and wiggle from pinky toe to big toe. Lift your sit bones high, soften your ribs onto thighs and have a look forward. Can you hug your elbows and maybe even bend them a little? Stretching ourselves out. Pointing knees to front corners of the mat. Pointing elbows to back corners of the mat. And then find your left foot landing between hands. Lift and lower your right heel a few times, gently stretching out the back leg. Maybe you can bring your left chest onto thighs. So fingertips might be making these domes or the hands might be flat. And see if you might be able to lift your hips back and gently fold over your front leg. And allow yourself to move forwards and back a few times. Life's not static. We don't need to be static here. Folding over your front leg. Maybe gently inhale to lift your chest. See if you can fold a little deeper with a longer front torso. And as we inhale, we bend our knee, stack it above the heel. We stack our hands onto knee. Pause for a moment to find stability here. So your back heel is lifted high. Your hips, your tailbone points forwards and down, your navel is strong. You might just want to stay here, or maybe hands come out to the sides, like a bird, spreading wings, open chest, finding left leg, and lift yourself up. So your flying warrior might be this today, and that's perfect. Your flying warrior Might be this today, and that's fine. If you like to join me, maybe make it an Ardha Chandrasana, flying warrior, so you're flexing your right foot, stacking hips and stacking shoulders, and might find yourself falling over and then come back into center. And from your center, you can come back into the pose. The outside world is just an expression of your center. So come there first and expand back out. And find your flying warrior again, aligning yourself with the mat. Let's step it back, rise it up into a bit of a celebration. We don't celebrate enough, I think, I feel, I sense. Reach it up, inhale here and exhale. Slowly bring your hands onto earth. And find your hands pressing into earth. Left leg reaches up into three-legged downward facing dog. Either stepping foot straight down. If you like, you bend your knee, you lift your knee. Maybe stepping it over into this wild thing, down dog. See if you want to do that. That's part of your practice. We all slowly find back into down dog. If you like, pause in child's pose or come into plank. Going through a little vinyasa. If chaturanga is part of your practice, you're welcome to go there. Finding your way back into down dog. We lift both heels, bend both knees, go deep and lift high at the same time. Hug your elbows in, point your knees apart. Get a lot of energy through your center and watch your right foot land between hands. Fingertips make domes or hands flat. As you move forwards and back a bit, dropping hips as you move forwards, opening hamstrings as you move back. Feel free to lift and lower back heel. And maybe as you inhale, you just lift your chest, keep your front leg extended, whatever that is for you. And exhale to fold it a little deeper, folding over the leg. On your next inhalation, knee bends, knee above heel, hands onto knee. Find your stance, find your stability, find your center. If you like, arms come through the sides, in line with hips, slightly outwards. Spread your fingers, your hands becoming your wings, stepping it in into your flying warrior. Whichever that is today, or however that looks today. Going to step back a little. Maybe flexing left foot and witnessing yourself move through space as you stack your hips and you stack your shoulders and you find your center. It feels like my house is a boat today. And continuously finding center and then coming back and exploring again, and notice how our practice and our being and our body and everything changes every day. Find your way back into flying warrior. Step it back into lunge warrior. And raise your arms high, reach wide and open. Really enjoy and claim space. Spread your fingers, soften your shoulders. Remember, you're holding yourself from the core, you're expanding through your center. And then exhale your hands down. Find the earth, grounding. Find your right leg reaching up and either staying here or pausing in down dog or child's pose or rolling onto outer left heel, stepping foot back, opening into wild thing. Enjoying this, enjoying life, looking at the world upside down, coming back over three-legged downward facing dog and leg down. This time knees come wide, really wide onto mat. Toes point back, sit yourself onto your heels or into the space between your heels. Sit yourself up tall if you like, lift your chin, open your throat, and then take that into a forward fold. Soften your inner thighs down towards mat. Soften your pelvic floor down towards mat. Soften your heart onto earth, down towards mat. Let yourself drop into the space between your knees. Soften yourself out. Now, either pause here. If you feel like coming into a headstand, this might be a good moment to go there. If it's part of your practice, otherwise staying here is just as good. Resting maybe sternum and chin, or forehead, or maybe a cheek onto mat. Remember to turn the other cheek if you are on your cheek. Let us slowly come back up onto hands and knees. Bring your knees in. Bring your feet out one way to come to seated. Reach your legs forwards. Let's make sure we're at the front of our mat. We'll cross our legs. Let's cross them the habitual way. We do anyways. Opening up. We'll inhale to reach our arms through the sides. Turn our palms up. Guide our elbows into hips, slide our thumbs back, open our chest. And then slowly bringing our hands to opposite elbows. Sliding elbows down to earth, pressing arms into lower back. Open chest, open heart. Another inhalation here. And sealing in our practice, we hinge forwards and fold it forward. Welcome to hold on to your elbows or just let go, let your hands drop. Witness the sensations, witness your body in space. Bringing chin to chest, rolling yourself up. Effortlessly stepping feet onto mat. Point your tailbone away and roll yourself onto earth. Now once your head and chest comes down, maybe use your fingertips to make sure your neck is nice and long, your shoulder blades grounded. Bring your knees up to chest. Resting hands onto knees and simply moving them gently side to side. Massaging your sacrum, lower back, wherever it might need a bit of opening. And if you like, you open your knees towards your armpits and stretch your feet up to ceiling. Your hands may stay here or they may come onto thighs. Circling, pointing, flexing feet. Eventually you might be able to grab your feet and draw your knees even closer down to earth. And here be free to wiggle around. So it's a happy baby, stretching one leg at a time, drawing your tailbone down into earth, drawing your knees down into earth, finding space, opening up. And bringing feet and knees back together. Open arms out to the sides. Inhale here in center. Exhale your knees to the right. And now really soften your left knee into right knee. It's tempting to hold on. Really soften. Soften your feet into earth. You can place your hand on your knees. Turn your head towards the left. Ground your left shoulder blade into earth. Open your collarbones as wide as you can. Every inhalation is expansion. With every exhale, you soften into this expansion. We make ourselves familiar with what might be unfamiliar. We make it familiar to stretch ourselves, to reach beyond our comfort zone. Let's find our way back to center. Hands onto knees. Adjust, sway them, shift them. Arms out to the sides, knees over the other way. Really let them drop into mat. If your shoulder comes off the mat, you can always adjust, placing hands onto rib. Or maybe you can turn your gaze towards the right. Ground your shoulder. Open collarbones. Every inhalation really is an opportunity to make space. Every exhalation, an opportunity to let go. Soften, to let go of what we think we know about ourselves and about life. Every breath an opportunity to become new, to evolve, to grow, to expand, to witness and experience life with curiosity. Coming back to center, Let us lift our head up. Gently create a little pillow with your hands, stretching spine, and then stretch out your legs. Tailbone down, toes flop out to the side, spine long, rest your head down. Rest your hands onto heart. Make sure your collarbones are nice and wide. And simply be here. Feel your heartbeat and breath underneath your hands. Close your eyes. Maybe stay here with your hands or open your arms to the sides. See what's true for you. Become completely still. So move from all this movement into stillness. And remain as sharp and as curious as you were moving. Remain fully present with all that is part of this moment. Every bit of inhalation, every bit of exhalation. Embrace the wholeness of this moment. Embrace your wholeness. The beauty, peace, and stillness of this moment. This space within which exists beyond thought, beyond mind, beyond persona and identity. That space of pure being, vast and spacious, powerfully holding anything that might arise, anything you might encounter, the world within, the world around you. Let go of your ideas about life, your thoughts, your concepts. And make space to live life, be life. Embrace life with an open heart, courageous and inner stillness. Let us bring our attention to breath. Gently deepen your inhalations and deepen your exhalations. No forcing, no straining, just this maybe sighing out your exhalation. Empty yourself out completely and inhale, fill yourself up and exhale, empty yourself out. Let this breath be expressed through your body in the most organic, gentle, effortless way. And then find your way back up to seated, organically, intuitively, effortlessly, eyes closed, trusting your senses, body and space. Sitting tall on your sit bones, rising so tall that the crown of your head touches ceiling, your outer shoulders touching walls, placing our hands onto heart, gently pressing into heart, keeping chest wide and open. Feel your breath and feel your heartbeat. Set your intention for the day to carry this feeling with, to remember that this is who you are. And wherever you go and whatever happens around you, this is still who you are. Take an inhalation to lift and lengthen, and as we exhale, we bow as a gesture of thanking ourselves, honoring and appreciating ourselves and one another. Namaste.